Boom, 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 that's how. Welcome back to another episode of the Career Corner with a lady who's going to be telling us what she's doing for work in 2020. Her name's going to introduce herself and tell her what she does for work in 2020. Without further ado, my sister, can you please just introduce yourself to our viewers and tell us what you do for work in 2020?
Hi, so I'm Zizi Dlamini, better known as Zizi. I am 24 years of age and I am a software developer for a financial institution. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say where, but yeah, I'll just put it there.
We don't have to. They must not just. No, that's amazing because, funny enough, you are my second female who is in the software developing space. And what we are trying to do here is to show young kids, especially we're on Women's Month in August, young girls, we say, guys, listen, don't hold yourself back. Don't now start after getting this education. I know I'm just going to study anything just to study. I need to study something that is going to be fruitful for me, that's going to be relevant. Right now we're on the fourth industrial evolution. I'm not sure if I'm saying that, but we're there and we need to have our kids knowing about the careers that can really literally change their lives. So just to take it a step back, so I'm going to start all the way from the beginning. Well, not beginning. Matric, where did you go to high school?
So I'm originally from Durban. I did my high school at Durban Girls High. After matriculating, I matriculated 2013. After matriculating, I went to UKZN, University of Kwa-Zulu Natal, where I pursued my degree in computer science and IT. So yeah.
Computer science and IT. But now, what made you say, Guti, I want to do computer science? There's so many things that people do, especially like females. There's so many things, as we know, Guti, they would fall. Most females, I'm not saying all of them, but most females would say, maybe like, for instance, a social worker. A person wants to be a social worker and someone wants to be in psychology. What made you want to decide, okay, let me pursue studies in computer science and IT?
To be quite honest with you, it was one of those things where my parents pushed me to do it. You know, like, and I won't lie, like, I had the freedom of choice due to my subjects. So, you know, when you come out of matric, a lot of us didn't know what we wanted to do. I think I was one of those people. And so with the guidance of my parents and some of the university lectures, when I went to go apply UKZN, they told me no, because I did subjects, maths, double science, which is physics and biology and history. So they were like, there's a lot you can do with the subject. So I went to the Faculty of Science at UKZN. I looked at the list because I had already applied there, and what I initially applied for, which was engineering, I think it was computer engineering, it was too full. So they're like, okay, here's another option, which is computer science. So that's how I fell into that department. So yeah, my subjects allowed me, as well as my results, because I always knew I wanted to do a BSc. So yeah, that opened that door for me, I guess.
Okay, so we can safely say you did BSc, but I'm new to these things, Mina. I'm at AIM that you guys are using. Okay, cool.
BSc is Bachelor of Science.
Bachelor of Science. Okay, cool. So now you are at varsity. Now you're studying this thing. You said you graduated in which year?
I matriculated 2013. Graduated 2018.
2018. So you were in varsity for what? 5 years?
4 years.
If I'm counting.
4 years. Okay, wait. My graduation was in 2018 because I finished in 2017. And give me a shot.
Okay, cool. Did you come out with an honors, or you came up with like a normal undergraduate degree?
Just a normal undergraduate.
Okay, cool. We're going to come back to that point. So now you are here. Then how do you find this job all the way in Joburg? You are here, software developers, and aren't there any opportunities in KZN where you come from where you can actually say, okay, cool, I can work here as a software developer, so on and so forth? Like, how did you come about to end up being in Joburg?
Okay, to make a long story short, firstly, the one thing I realized is that the market in Durban is not as fast and is not as open as Johannesburg or Cape Town. So a lot more opportunities. When I was applying for jobs, there are a lot more posts in Johannesburg and in Cape Town. And two, I just wanted to broaden my horizons in terms of why limit myself to one city. I was honestly just applying everywhere and anywhere. Thirdly, in our third year of, or our final year of our degree, there's a lot of I've seen career exhibitions in terms of for your degree, they present opportunities in the careers that you can do with your degree. So you can, with computer science, with a computer science degree, you can do, there's business analysts, there are system analysts, there are software engineers and developers, which is the same thing. What else can you do? There's like a lot of wide range careers you can do without qualification. So yeah, I didn't want to limit myself to one city, one job title. I really wanted to explore and discover what I wanted to do with this degree or this qualification.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Because most people just prefer, okay, I'm gonna funda here, study here. After I'm done here, I'm gonna wanna settle here. Maybe I can get married here and just be in the same vicinity without saying, let me explore other options and grow and develop myself. So okay, now you're working for this financial institution that we're not going to mention here because we don't want to get into trouble and get you into trouble. But how are you finding the work again now, the challenges that you have on the work that you do? Because first of all, you're a female, you're working in an industry that in the past, when I grew up, we knew which it was predominantly dominated by male. But now you are a 24-year-old girl, Ganjalo, meaning a child who's 16, who's 17, who's 15, who's watching you right now can say how. If she's 24 and she's working in a Ganjalo, this is where she's working, I can do it too. But now, how are you finding the work that you're doing, M17, and the challenges that just come with the work that you do?
First and foremost, let me just start with the positives.
Yes.
In IT or in the technology space, we're very fortunate that there's always an idea, there's always the next step. Like you said, we're in the fourth industrial evolution. So yes, there's always work. That's just a pro in working in technology or pursuing a degree in technology space. The hardships and the challenges, I don't know. I've always told myself not to put it in my mind or in my head because I'm a female doing this. I mean, I would like to think that your gender has no bearing on your intelligence, but there are some challenges in terms of it gets a bit disheartening only working with men because there is that social aspect when you're at work. You want to socialize, you want to get along with people, create friends. That is a bit challenging because now it's like people treat you differently. It's like you are fragile almost, or you're incapable, and they want to offer extra help even when you don't need it. I don't know if that's such a bad thing, but I mean, it can work against you if you're always telling yourself, I'm a female in the male space, because you kind of defeat yourself before you even get the job done. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, it is, you can work it to advantage. I mean, there are people always there to help you. In the environment that I'm working, it's very collaborative. So we're always working in teams, we're always working together, always willing to help each other. So it's not like it's a competition. There's no, I don't know how to say it, but there's no animosity. There's no, you're female, I'm male, I know how to do the job better than you. I don't know with other industry, other companies, but in my environment, it really is, I guess, the perfect work environment, if I could say so. Okay.
I saw your light, it just changed. Okay, I wanted you to make sure you put, no, it's fine. Now, while we still at your work, I want to take another step back because we just keep on doing this so that people can get in varsity, when you're in varsity. Now, the reason why I was asking about your, what kind of qualification you came up with when you're in varsity, what were some of the challenges where now you can say, okay, these are some of the things that I had to deal with in varsity when I was just there, because the people we are trying to help, the kids who are watching this thing, whoever is watching this is probably going through the same phase whereby I'm going to go to varsity, I'm going to live away from home and whatnot. What are some of the challenges? I'm sorry about that. What are some of the challenges that you have faced when yourself, while you were still in varsity, trying to get into just the swing of things? Maybe you've moved away from home for the first time and stuff like that.
So I was lucky enough to go to a university that was close to home or in my hometown. But definitely the challenges that I had was, the first lesson I learned was always depend on family and not friends. I mean, I had a close group of friends and I still do have those same friends. But I think in varsity and a bit of your life when you first work, you're really trying to find yourself within other people, like within your friends. So when you are in varsity, self-discipline is a thing that you need to have. Don't compare yourself with other people in terms of, if your friends are not studying and they can afford to go party, or they can afford to not study as hard as you, you shouldn't do that. 1, 2, we don't come from the same background. I know that I was paying my own school fees, so I always had in the back of my mind that I'm doing this for and with my parents. It's not just me doing this, but my parents also have a lot to lose and they've invested a lot. So find the right group of friends who have the same frame of mind as you. And if you have friends from high school, try keep them as well and keep your circle very small. Secondly, the challenge that I faced was going to school with just, like in my class, with just boys. In high school, I was in an only girls school. So I was in an only girls school, and then when I came to varsity, we were all mixed, and it was predominantly just guys. The challenge that I find with guys is that they always have a motive. Like, they won't just help you for free. Like, there's always a thing. It's okay. Like, so yeah, there is a thing as well. If you're a reserved person, it's really hard to fit in or get into like a group of people, especially if it's just predominantly men in varsity. Because you never do it alone. You're never gonna study alone. You're gonna do group projects. Even when you're not doing group projects, like, you need that extra help from your classmates. So yeah, just try find always a group small of people that you can depend on. Yeah, that was my challenge, like just self-discipline and friends.
Okay, there's a part that you mentioned that you just surprised me with. You said you were paying your own school fees. Like, how did that happen? Because obviously, like, now people will be interested. Do pay your own school fees? Like, how did that happen? Come about to paying your own school fees?
It's not even that deep, like I was working a job or anything, but it was one of those things why we was striking for a fees must fall. It was that thing of you're too rich for UNES first, but you're too broke to pay your own school fees kind of situation. So my parents made a plan to pay my school fees, but it wasn't like they paid cash. I did have a lot of debts, or we did face debts after I finished or graduated. But yeah, I was lucky enough to have parents who could afford me to put me through. Yeah. Okay.
The reason why I'm asking is because people are going to be like, why didn't this guy ask how this lady paid your own goals? But now when you are saying that you had your parents support you, now that makes sense, because some people get bursaries. Some people know where young people can start getting bursaries. I'm hoping companies who are watching this are really going to help us with this thing, and especially with this field, the IT, where they can get a couple of kids straight from high school, school them till they finish varsity and just paying them in investing, because you're investing in the child of in the future of our children. So now, okay, fine. Reason why I was going back to varsity, why I skipped over it and then I'm back at it, I wanted to highlight a common denominator. You said varsity, like what I said, basically you just reiterated what I said, Guti. Basically what's happening is you are working with males, you are working with men. Some of the time they have ulterior motives. If at work, just because you're working, it doesn't mean it stops. It continues. And these are challenges that you guys as women face all the time. But it doesn't mean now you need to sell yourself short and sell yourself low and lower the bar and say, I'm going to do whatever because the guy said, no, I can help you with anything. You just have to exchange this couple of favors. I'm not going to try to get explicit here, but it doesn't mean good to imagine now you have to go through that route. You know what I mean? If you're watching Zizi Dlamini speaking to us, you can tell Guti she's smart, she's working for a financial institution. She doesn't want to say which, and we won't make it say which financial institution, but she's doing her thing, she's doing a job, and she's doing a great job at it. You don't have to sell yourself short. You don't have to say, oh man, I can't do this thing because this guy who said he was going to help me. There's always a way, always find a way. Don't give us that nonsense. Now I'm not going to do 1, 2, and 3 because a guy or a person, because even a group, even with friends, what you're saying with friends, let's say you want to study university, you want to study like right now, right? And then what happens is your friends decide, no, let's just go out and party. We just came back from lockdown, let's go out and party. You know what you want. You know when you're going to varsity, what you are there for. You're not there for those things. Those things are going to come. I can guarantee you right now, Zizi, she has her own place, Abahlala Corner. If she wants to party, after lockdown, she can go party till Azabe Mgaga, partying with her own money because she waited for those things. This thing of rushing things and saying you can multitask is like, you guys need to cut it out because you end up wasting a lot of your parents' money and time while you're in varsity, while other kids who are following after you and people who could have needed that help that you had, but now you just, I'm not saying people are perfect and angels, but now just know what you're there for ever since. That's the only thing that I'm saying, especially if you're going to go to the university route. Now, another question I want to ask you, with IT, with computer science and IT, I'm finding out that there are some things and some avenues that people can take. For instance, when you went to varsity, you were there for what, 3 years?
Yeah, 4 years.
Mm-hmm. But now I'm finding there's other avenues that if a person wants to be in this industry, computer science, they can take shorter and then only to find you are working now, maybe you've done this course for like a year or maybe like a year and a half, and you are working now, and you can continue learning because your field, you are a lifelong learner. There's no other way, because like you said, there's new things that are coming. Do you know of any other avenues that people can take besides going to varsity and studying in varsity, that they can take and say, hey, okay, cool, maybe I went to varsity because at the time that's what I had to do, but there's other avenues that you may know of? Yes, I wanted to ask.
Definitely, like with programming, because that's what computer science is. We're basically programmers or coders, whatever you want to call it. You can learn over the internet. There are programs that are legitimate that will give you certificates and qualifications that are shorter. Wow. For example, here in Joburg, I discovered one that's called We Think Code. I think it's also, I'm not sure if it's in other provinces, but I know that it's definitely in Johannesburg. We work with a lot of students and a lot of I don't want to call them graduates because I don't know what it is exactly that they call them once they finish their course, but it's called We Think Code. Yeah, they are taught like the very, not the basics, but the very core of what we do at work in the industry, which is coding, solving problems, project management, that sort of stuff. Because in varsity, we do all these things that are really theoretical and not as much practical. Because I got to the workplace, and I'm sure a lot of us can share this experience. We get to the workplace and we know all this theory, but practically, like when the computer is placed in front of you, you don't even know the first thing to do. You know what I mean? So I am certainly for people going the shorter route if that's possible, but make sure that it's really credible. So yeah, I mean, that's definitely credible. I know people in the industry who've gone through that route and who are hired and have experience from that qualification. So yeah, definitely.
Cool. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you said when they were just going to stop it there for now and say We Think Code. People must go and Google it and search it. There's search right now. There's no even need to go back and forth about this thing. Just go look for We Think Code and look at the advantages of embarking on using all We Think Code to start programs, so you can get like a qualification and then you can start being in a job market, because you guys are working in a very niche market. It has a lot of demand and there's less people who are skilled like right now. So it's a nice market to jump into like right now, and then a kid can grow. Like at the age of 18, you can't say, no, maybe they don't have. If you have internet is becoming cheaper and cheaper and cheaper every day. Hopefully the internet providers in South Africa are listening so they can sponsor us. But internet bundles is becoming cheaper. Use the internet. The same internet you go on Instagram looking at people shaking their booties. You can use the same internet to enrich and empower yourself. There's no need to say, no man, the internet, I can't. If it means you have to buy a night shift data because you have to do this thing, because I do it myself. At times, when it's time to upload videos on YouTube, I would wait, edit at night and upload at night, because I can't afford to use my day data to actually upload the videos there. So it's up to me to make sure I made a plan to make sure this thing happen. If I can do it, and I'm an old geezer, I'm very old. You as a young person can actually do it as well. Wow, so thank you.
Yeah, just to add, like a lot of things, as much as we're qualified, a lot of things in our field of work are also self-taught. So like I said, they don't teach everything at work. I mean, not at work, at school. So like, for example, if I'm just making an example. If you're a software engineer, specifying or specializing in a certain language, for example, Java, if you want to learn another language or jump over to another career, in our career, I won't lie, there's a lot of what we used to call in school degree gymnastics. You can sort of have like a career gymnastics whereby you can go from a software engineer to a hacker or a cybersecurity guy. So a lot of things, after you get your qualification, they can be and they are self-taught. Like if you want to learn hacking, you can learn that. If you want to learn another language, you can learn that. So it really isn't just all about your degree, because there's a point in your career where your degree no longer works, but your work speaks for you, the projects you've done.
Wow, that's amazing. Like that's just incredible what you just said to me, because I'm doing this thing. I've never embarked on any presenting thing, but I taught myself to do this thing, to film, to edit. When the pandemic hit, I was like, okay, cool. What can we do to get videos? So we can show kids the kind of jobs that are available right now, so that what happened to the people who come from my generation who end up getting retrenched in Zini because now your job is no longer required. I taught myself this thing. So you're basically saying the same thing, and it's amazing that you're actually speaking the same language. You teach yourself something. If you're passionate about something and you want to learn it, there's no excuses in this day and age to say, I can't learn 1, 2, and 3 because internet, whatever, of which is very, very amazing. And yeah, I think you've helped us enough. I think the kids and the youth, they're watching, they're listening, and you're going to help a lot of kids. It may not be today, tomorrow, or next year, but the moment your video starts going up, a lot of kids are going to get this information and soak it in. And we just want to thank you very much for your time. Anything you want to add before we end up this interview? Because I think like you've blessed us so much today.
Okay, I think the last thing I want to say,
people like this, to a person who wants to study what you studied and work on the kind of field that you're working in, basically, that's how
okay, specifically to the young ladies, because I myself wish I got this advice when I was in high school. First and foremost, never limit yourself in terms of never put certain things that are irrelevant in your mind. For example, it's a male dominated industry, or I can't do this because I'm female. In terms of choosing your subjects, never say that science is for men or maths or anything like that. I think you really need to have faith in yourself more than other people have faith in you. And don't be scared of a challenge. Like, I think we really need to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. If you really want to succeed at anything, that should be your life motto, being comfortable with being uncomfortable. And always push yourself, like, and always be honest with yourself. It's okay. I mean, a lot of us are determined, but really being honest with yourself, being your number one cheerleader, being your number one motivator, and not being scared of a challenge is how you always should get through life.
Wow, that's amazing. 25 years old and she's speaking like she's lived on this earth for decades and decades and decades and decades. The wisdom, we thank you for it. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time, Siswami. Izulu Sisi Onendlebe Uzwile. Now, before you go, we have a beautiful slogan that we do here. A city, Ratata, Career Corner, Ratata. Can you do it for us?
Ratata, Career
Corner, Ratata.
Okay, Ratata, Career Corner, Ratata.
Number one, dream big, think sharp, always follow your dreams and follow your heart. Cut, we're out.